Ukrainian forces have successfully carried out another powerful strike against a key Russian naval target this time. A Bayern-M-class warship equipped with Caliber cruise missiles. The vessel was heavily damaged following a precise drone attack, forcing the Russian crew to abandon ship in a state of chaos and embarrassment. Here's what happened and why it matters. The attack took place on August 28th in the Sea of Azov, located between mainland Russia and occupied parts of Ukraine like Crimea and Donetsk. For over a year, Russia has been launching missile attacks from this sea. Before that, it mainly used the Black Sea. But as Ukraine started using advanced missiles and both air and sea drones to sink Russian ships, the Kremlin shifted its operations. After suffering repeated losses in the Black Sea, Russian military leaders moved many of their ships to the Sea of Azov, likely believing it to be a safer location. They then began launching Caliber missiles from there. The first major assault from this area happened in June 2024, when Russia fired 4 Caliber missiles as part of a larger coordinated attack that included drones and other missiles targeting Ukrainian cities and power stations. Despite Ukraine's air defences working hard to stop them, several of the missiles still hit targets in places like Lutsk, Lviv and Zaporizhia, causing damage to critical energy infrastructure. Ukrainian Navy spokesperson Dmitry Pletnyuk said this marked a turning point in the conflict. He pointed out that Russia likely chose the Azov Sea thinking it was safer than the Black Sea. Just days before that first missile attack, Russia had moved at least 9 warships into the Azov Sea, while leaving a few behind in the Black Sea. Ukrainian experts and military planners quickly began analysing this shift in Russian tactics to find the best way to respond. Pletnyuk warned at the time that Russia was taking a big risk by thinking the Sea of Azov gave them a safe advantage, forgetting that it's close enough for Ukraine to strike back. Just over a year later, that warning has proven true, as Ukraine has now shown it can take out Russian missile ships even in this new location. This successful operation was carried out by the Department of Active Measures along with a special Ukrainian unit known as Primary or the Ghosts. Together, they planned and launched a well-coordinated 2-phase attack on one of Russia's Bayern-M-class warships. The damage was done in minutes, and the Russian crew was thrown into disarray. The first wave of the operation was led by the Ghosts, who took control and executed the initial assault. Ukraine's Special Operations Unit has once again shown its effectiveness by using drones and other advanced tools to target and destroy high-priority Russian assets, including radar systems, air defense setups, supply bases, and more. These actions are part of Ukraine's effort to weaken Russia's control over occupied areas and limit its ability to continue attacks. In this latest mission, the Ukrainian fighters known as the Ghosts began by disabling the radar system on a Russian Bayern-M warship. This ship uses 2 main types of radar, the MP2312 for navigation and the 5P26M1 phased array radar to detect threats from the air or sea. By knocking out these systems, Ukraine essentially left the ship blind, unable to detect incoming attacks. Right after the radar was taken out, Ukraine launched a second wave of drone strikes, this time aiming directly at the body of the ship. These drones came from the Department of Active Measures, another special forces group. Their goal was to damage the ship enough to force it out of action or even sink it. Ukraine's military intelligence agency, HUR, posted a full report about the operation on Facebook, including video footage showing the moment the drone struck the radar and then hit the ship's hull. The attack took place on August If repair costs are too high or time-consuming, Russia may decide to retire the ship for now, possibly sending it to storage or scrapping it altogether. But losing a ship like this would be a major setback. Only 15 ships from the Boyan series were ever built, and just 12 of those are the more advanced Boyan M type. These warships are about 73 meters, 240 feet long, weigh around 950 tons, and can travel up to 1,500 nautical miles without needing to refuel. They can stay at sea for up to 15 days, making them ideal for long missions, especially for launching cruise missile strikes. The Boyan M is heavily armed with an A190 100mm main gun, 2 AK-630M anti-aircraft guns, and 8 Caliber missiles, which can be used against ships or land-based targets. It also has 4 Igla surface-to-air missiles mounted on a 3 M47 Gibka launcher, along with several machine guns positioned across the deck. With a full crew and all these weapons, the Boyan M is a serious threat. While the Caliber missiles are the ship's main offensive weapon, the other guns and missile systems play a key role in protecting it from air and sea attacks. All of this makes the Boyan M a valuable asset for Russia and a high-priority target for Ukraine. The Boyan M warship is designed to protect itself from enemy ships and aircraft. It's packed with modern radar, communication tools, and other advanced tech that help it navigate, stay on course, and survive attacks. But in this case, none of that high-tech gear was enough to stop a few relatively basic Ukrainian drones from causing serious damage and forcing the ship to flee. This is a big victory for Ukraine for several important reasons. Most importantly, disabling a Boyan M ship, even if only for a while, directly reduces Russia's ability to fire Caliber cruise missiles at Ukrainian cities, infrastructure, and military positions. These ships are one of the Kremlin's main tools for launching long-distance attacks, so taking one out even temporarily weakens their naval strength. Another key point, there aren't many of these warships. Russia doesn't have hundreds of them, only about a dozen Boyan M ships exist. That means every single one is valuable. When even one is damaged or taken out of action, it impacts Russia's military planning. That specific ship might have been heading to a key spot in the Azov Sea to prepare for a missile strike on Kiev or another Ukrainian city. Now, at least for a while, it's out of commission and not able to carry out any strikes. That matters a lot, especially considering how dangerous these ships can be. For example, back in March 2022, shortly after the full-scale invasion began, a Boyan M was caught on video launching all 8 of its Caliber missiles at a Ukrainian weapons storage site. Russia's defense ministry released that footage as a show of strength, hoping to scare Ukrainians and boost Russian morale. At the time, Russian officials claimed the missiles destroyed Western-supplied weapons stored near the village of Orzev. While that claim was never verified by outside sources, there's no question that Caliber missiles are very powerful. Experts like Ian Williams from the Center for Strategic and International Studies have compared Calibers to the US Tomahawk missiles. Both are long-range cruise missiles used by naval forces. They're guided by satellite and internal systems that help them stay on course over great distances. While Russia says these missiles can fly as far as 1,600 miles, about 2,500 kilometers, US sources believe the real range is closer to 870 miles, roughly 1,400 kilometers. Even at the lower estimate, that's still enough to strike deep into Ukraine from the waters of the Azov Sea, reaching cities like Dnipro, Kharkiv, Kiev, and even areas in the west. Each Caliber missile includes fold-out wings and fins for control, internal guidance systems, a large fuel supply, and turbojet engines. Some versions can even reach speeds up to Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound, or around 2,300 miles per hour. Once launched, they fly independently, but can still receive updates through satellite links to adjust their flight path while in the air. Caliber cruise missiles are known for their precision and destructive power. Each one carries a warhead weighing nearly 1,000 pounds, enough to destroy key military sites like command centres, seaports, airfields, and supply depots. Unfortunately, Ukraine has experienced their impact firsthand many times during the war. Just weeks after the invasion began, one of these missiles hit a military barracks near Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine. 8 soldiers lost their lives while they were asleep. A few months later, in July 2022, 3 Caliber missiles struck downtown Vinnytsia, killing at least 20 people, including 3 children. That same month, Russia launched more Calibers at the port of Odessa. Since then, these missiles have repeatedly hit vital infrastructure across Ukraine, including power stations and substations, leaving destruction and casualties in their wake. Because of the serious threat they pose, Ukraine has made it a priority to locate and destroy the warships carrying these missiles. And they've had multiple successful missions. One of the most significant victories came in April 2022, when Ukraine hit Russia's Black Sea Fleet flagship, the Moskva, with 2 R-360 Neptune missiles. The ship sank shortly after, forcing hundreds of crew members to evacuate. It was the largest Russian warship to be destroyed in combat since World War II, and the first time a Russian flagship had been taken out in over 100 years. Like the Bayern-M-class ships, the Moskva had cruise missile capabilities. It carried both P-1000 Vulcan anti-ship missiles and S-300F long-range surface-to-air missiles. Just a few months later, in July 2022, Ukrainian drone operators successfully damaged a Bayern-M corvette, which was later seen being towed along the Volga River with several large holes visible in its hull and superstructure. In April 2024, another strike targeted a Bayern-M, starting a fire on board and reportedly allowing Ukraine to capture sensitive data related to the Baltic Fleet and Russian defense operations. Later that same year, a Ukrainian A-22 drone hit the Caspic naval base, damaging yet another Boyan-class ship, as well as a couple of Russian Gepard-class frigates. The recent strike in the Azov Sea is just the latest in this ongoing campaign to weaken Russia's ability to launch long-range missile attacks. Every successful hit matters. It reduces Russia's firepower and delays or cancels missile operations that could have caused more loss of life and destruction in Ukraine. This becomes even more important considering the recent deadly strike on Kiev, where at least 23 people, including 4 children, were killed. The attack also damaged homes, offices, and other buildings. It was one of the largest aerial assaults so far in the war, involving more than 600 drones and missiles. All of this points to one clear reality. Russia is showing no signs of pulling back. Instead, it's stepping up its attacks using large-scale drone and missile strikes to hit cities and towns across Ukraine. These assaults often target both military and civilian areas with devastating results, showing little regard for human life. As Ukraine faces these brutal attacks, it's crucial not only to defend itself, but also to strike back at Russia. This recent destruction of the warship is important for Ukraine for several reasons. It slows down Russia's ability to launch missile attacks, which can save lives and reduce damage. At the same time, it creates new problems for the Kremlin to deal with. Instead of using the damaged Bayern-M ship in their future plans, Russian leaders now have to spend time and resources fixing it. They also need to change their strategies because of this loss, adding to the other setbacks they've faced lately. For example, Ukraine recently hit 2 major oil refineries, the Kubyshev and Afibsky refineries, on August 28th, further hurting Russia's energy sector, which is a key part of its economy. While Russia often launches large numbers of drones and missiles, seemingly at random, hitting homes, offices, and other places without much clear strategy, Ukraine takes a more careful approach. They pick targets thoughtfully, focusing on places and structures that matter most to Russia. By destroying these important sites, Ukraine's attacks tend to have a bigger military impact, causing the Kremlin to face millions or even billions in damage and losing valuable military equipment. If you want to learn more about these kinds of strikes, check out our video on how Ukraine's forces recently destroyed a Russian airbase in the Voronezh region. They took out 2 bombers and disabled a costly and important air defense system there. Or, for a broader view of the conflict and why Ukraine is gaining the upper hand, watch our detailed look at how Ukrainians have become experts in drone warfare, changing the way battles are fought. And don't forget to subscribe to our trusted channel to stay updated on all the latest important news from the front lines in Ukraine and beyond.